Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news happening throughout the day. I hope all of you guys are having a wonderful day. My day has been pretty solid overall. Today is June 10th. It is, I believe, Tuesday. Days are going by as they go. Hope all you guys are doing well. We've got a lot of interesting news going on today throughout the Trump administration and the protests in LA. Before I start this video, though, I'd just like to, talk about another TikTok page that I've dropped. I've dropped a new TikTok page posting clips from this evening news recap. So I'd appreciate it if you all went and showed it some love. I've made a few posts I made a post on Blue Sky and I made a post on Substack. And I'll make sure if I remember to put it in the link in this video below. If not, you can always look it up. I believe it is under the username Bray's News Recap or Bray's News Recap Clips. Look it up on TikTok if you can't find it. Really appreciate it if you guys went and showed it some love, as I'm trying to, grow a few other accounts here on TikTok. I think I might do a little personal one as well, but I'm not too sure yet. But with that being said, hope all of you guys had a wonderful day, and let's get into today's news recap. Moving on into our first segment today, the first topic we have from the Trump administration segment is Trump says anyone protesting his parade will be met with heavy force. Trump has warned No King's Day protesters on June 14th will be met with very heavy force. The parade will be held this Saturday in D.C., and thousands of protests are scheduled across the country and world. Speaking to the Oval Office reporters, Trump said, "These are people that hate our country. For those people who want to protest, they are going to be met with very heavy force. I haven't even ever heard about a protest, but this is people that hate our country." These protesters are not people that hate this country. Protesters are showing their love for the country that we used to have. I'm excited to see the protest this weekend because it's clear that DC needs to see something, especially after everything that's happening in LA. And I mean, I don't really think DC as a whole has seen too much action. And I think if Trump saw some action on his doorstep, he might realize his actions a little bit. But maybe I'm wrong on that one. I just think overall more action needs to be taken. So keep making your voices heard and keep telling our congressmen and senators and all those people that they need to stand up for the American people and not the Trump administration. Moving on, Trump is preparing to send thousands to Guantanamo Bay, including Europeans. Trump and his administration are planning to send thousands of immigrants to Guantanamo Bay as soon as this week, including hundreds of people of European allied descent. Immigration officials are considering the transportation of 9,000 individuals, including people from the UK, Ireland, Italy, France, and many other European nations, according to Politico. Officials are not expected to inform their home countries about the transfers, a strange move as European nations regularly accept deportees from the United States. I have a feeling, this is going to create more of a drift between European allies and the United States. Of course, there's been a big one already, but this is likely going to cause more shift. I worry about the deportation and the mistreatment of Europeans, causing tensions between the United States and Europe, and that is something I don't believe we want to see at all. European countries are becoming, much stronger, much, much stronger, and I strongly believe a united Europe could be way stronger than the United States, especially if they try to. They've got countries like France, Germany, Poland, Sweden, and so many more. And those countries very likely could be heavy hitters, if they worked together. So I think overall, a united Europe is scary, and fighting against said united Europe is even more terrifying. Moving on into our Los Angeles protests segment, Trump is deploying 2,000 more National Guard troops. Trump has mobilized an additional 2,000 National Guard troops to LA. The batch joins the 2,000 current troops along with 700 Marines as Trump claims the troops saved the city from burning to the ground. Trump wrote in a Truth Social post, "If I didn't send in the troops to Los Angeles the last 3 nights, that once beautiful and great city would be burning to the ground right now, as much like the 250 or not 200, 25,000 houses, my apologies, burned down to the ground in LA due to an incompetent governor and mayor." I mean, this is not what we needed. The escalation from the Trump administration needs to end. It is a continued attack on the American people that harms local communities and lives. Keep um, protesting and keep speaking out against the Trump administration. Tell Trump who's boss and, wave the American flag proud and high. Take back a symbol of freedom and justice from MAGA and remind the people what the stars and stripes really stand for: liberty and justice for all, not fascism and an oligarchy. I mean, that's not what the United States is, and it's not what the United States will ever stand for. Moving on, the National Guard will be in LA for 60 days, costing taxpayers $13 million. The deployment of almost 5,000 National Guard and Marine troops to LA will cost $134 million and will last 60 days, according to the Pentagon's acting comptroller, with 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines on scene, causing huge escalation between protesters and law enforcement. State Democrats have sued for the removal of those troops. The costs came out as Pete Hegseth testified before the House and explained why the deployment was necessary. Pete Hegseth said President Trump believes in law and order, so he has every authority. Not only is this escalation costly, but it's unnecessary. Protests are overwhelmingly peaceful, and there's no need for these troops to be here. It's an attack on the American people, and it needs to end not 2 months from now, but now. This is insane. Time and time again, are we seeing videos on TikTok, on all forms of social media, where people are being attacked? I mean, we watched a reporter get shot yesterday. We watched a reporter get detained tonight. We watched a man get shot with multiple rubber rounds and still stand and keep staring at these at these policemen. I mean, it is insane what's happening. There are Marines out. There are thousands of National Guard troops out there, and it's unnecessary. These protests are peaceful, and Trump is only making them worse. He needs to be stopped. This is not okay, and it should not be allowed to continue. Moving on, a CNN reporter was detained in LA. Police briefly detained CNN correspondent Jason Carroll while on air during the network's coverage of the LA protests. CNN was covering the protests live when the studio lost contact with Carroll, who was seen being led away by LAPD with his hands behind his back. Carroll returned to the mic to inform that he was being detained. An officer was heard saying, "We're letting you go. You can't come back. If you come back, you will be arrested." Carroll said he was detained because he wasn't allowed to be in the area. This is not the second time this is the second time a reporter has been essentially attacked by these protests. I've never heard of reporters not being allowed to be at protests. There's nothing illegal about it, and they're doing their job. I mean, are you trying to hide the injustice of police officers? Are you trying to hide the horrible escalation of the Trump administration? Because if so, every reporter should be out there right now interviewing and spreading the information on the situation. People need to know. Don't let them stop them from knowing. This isn't okay. People need to know the injustice of the Trump administration. They need to know that the Trump administration is actively attacking the American people, and it needs to be stopped as soon as possible. Please continue to stand up for LA. Please continue to stand up across the country. This isn't okay, and it never should be. This isn't the United States, and we need to protect the nation that we once had. We need to fight for the nation that we once had. Moving on to our other news segment, Greta Thunberg has been deported to France. Israel has deported Greta Thunberg a day after she was seized in international waters by the Israel military. Speaking upon arrival in Paris en route to Sweden, she called for the release of other activists who were detained. She also described a quite chaotic and uncertain situation while in detention. She said the conditions they faced are absolutely nothing compared to what people are going through in Palestine, especially in Gaza right now. The goal of her trip was to bring aid to the Gaza Strip, and she and activists would continue trying. I hope other activists are able to get released, as the capturing of those who wanted to provide aid who were traveling in international waters as well is disgusting and unjust. Thousands will die because of Israel's actions, and it's not okay. Palestine needs to be freed ASAP because it's truly colonization and a genocide that needs to end now. Moving on, Speaker Johnson says Newsom should be tarred and feathered. House Speaker Johnson has advocated for Gavin Newsom to be tarred and feathered on Tuesday for his opposition to immigration agents' enforcement actions across the state. Newsom replied, "Good to know we're skipping the arrest and going straight for a 1700 style forms of punishment, a fitting threat given that Republicans want to bring the country back to the 18th century, the same time period when the colonies were under British rule and when tar and feathers were used as a form of justice for tax evaders and custom officials." Are we serious? I mean, they claim Gavin Newsom should be governor, but at least he's up with the 21st century. I still don't support Newsom, but at least he's doing something, and at least he's standing up for the people in LA and the people of California. The Speaker of the House has better things to do than make these claims, and the claims that the Speaker is making is childish and prove that the Republican Party is a party that wants to take us to the past and hold us back from going into the future. You know, I mean, I think we need a recall if these are the claims that, the Speaker of the House is making, because it's clear that this is unprofessional and he has better things he could be doing, truly. Moving on, for the final topic tonight, Newsom has questioned Trump's mental state. In an interview with Fox News, Gavin Newsom didn't back down on his thoughts about Trump, telling the Entertainment Channel, "He is not the same person that I dealt with just 4 years ago. He is incapable of even a train of thought." He added, "He is making things up. He is putting people's lives at risk, and he has got a band of people that are complicit in this, that is what's so damn alarming. And we, Congress, need to step up, and oh my gosh, do we need the courts." Every day, I become more sure that Trump is mentally incompetent. I think that concern should be, raised, especially with how much he talks about Biden being incompetent. Trump does not seem to be in the right state of mind, and most of the time is not. He is horrible at speaking. He rambles on and on multiple occasions. Not to mention, there are even videos of him pooping himself at events. He should be the president. He needs to be out of office. It is clear that he is not only mentally competent, but he is not fit and honestly should be in a home. I mean, let's be real on that one. If you are pooping yourself, you should not be the president of the United States. That is not only disgusting, but I mean, what are you doing? Like, that is why. Go to the bathroom, bro. Just get up. I mean, how he's old, but like, come on. My grandpa's the same age as him, and he doesn't poop himself. What is your problem? With that being said, thank you everyone for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Um, yeah, not too much for me to, ramble about today. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you're on YouTube, please consider dropping a subscribe, dropping a like, dropping a comment down below. We're on our way to 500 subscribers. Truly do appreciate all forms of support we've gotten on this content. So if we can get 500 subscribers by the end of the summer, that would be really cool to me. But I can always hope. If you're on Substack, please consider pledging your support. All funds go to me. They help me pay for the things that I'll need to pay for in college, like food, clothing, all those sorts of things. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. As mentioned, I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. With that being said, be sure to check out that other TikTok profile I mentioned. It'll be hopefully in the link in the description of these YouTube videos. But if not, you can always check out my other TikTok profiles at Bray's News Recap and Fade James News. Appreciate all the supports on all my platforms, and I will see you all tomorrow. Later.